Like it says on the tin, this is a reading challenge. 12 books in 12 days, the 12 days of Christmas. But before we go into the book selection or the reasons for this challenge, hello everyone, I'm Marcella and welcome to my channel where I speak about the military books that I read or that I like to read. Over the last few years, during the winter season, winter holidays, I do a physical challenge, Festive 50, which is 50 miles walked or run during the 8 days between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So 24th to 31st of December. And because I cannot read 50 books in 8 days, I kind of adapted and I decided to read 12 books in 12 days, the 12 days of Christmas, like a motivation to read more. So I went through my library and I've done a selection of the smallest, tiniest books that I could possibly find. And those are normally the books that I don't read during the year. I keep them for holidays or travel when I don't have enough space in my luggage for big books. The rules for the challenge are quite simple. I need to finish one book in one day. I cannot start it the day before or finish it the day after. So I'll do my best to have one day, one book. It might not work, but I will try. Actually, there might be 13 books because I want to read again one book that was written by the guy that is organizing the Festive 50. That book is Darkness Descending by Ken Jones. And the story is on January 2003, former Special Forces soldier Ken Jones was caught in an avalanche as he climbed the frozen wilderness of Romanian Transylvanian Alps. Flung from cliffs, he regained consciousness to find himself surrounded in darkness, separated by his supplies and suffering from overexposure in the sub-zero temperatures, and in horrendous pain from a broken leg and a shattered pelvis. Bleeding internally, Ken dragged himself to safety over 3 agonizing days, only to discover that his true ordeal was just beginning. It's a great book. I liked it. That's one of the reasons that I want to read it again. I might not finish it in one day on the 24th. If I don't, I will finish it on the 6th at the end of the 12 days of Christmas. Starting the first day on the 25th, the first book will be All Quiet on the Western Front by Erich Remarque. It's a well-known book. I never got the chance to read it. I'm prioritizing more non-fiction over fiction, and this being fiction, I just ignore it. Reading on the back of the book doesn't tell me that much, so I'll have to discover what the book is all about. And it says, one by one, the boys began to fall. In 1914, a room full of German schoolboys, fresh-faced and idealistic, are goaded by their schoolmaster to troop off the glorious war. With the fire and patriotism of youth, they sign up. What follows is the moving story of a young unknown soldier experiencing the horror and disillusionment of life in the trenches. I'll have to read it and see. On the second day, so on the 26th, will be Sniper in Helmand by James Cartwright. And it's quite obvious what the book is all about. So his book, the first to be written by a trained sniper in Afghanistan, reveals the psychological pressure and the responsibility of his role, and in particular the deadly cat and mouse game with the enemy. James describes the highs and lows of almost daily action experienced by the soldiers deployed on active service in one of the most dangerous areas of the world. His mission was to liquidate as many Talibans as possible, and this is the book I read on the 26th. On the 27th is Freedom by Sebastian Junger. When I bought the book, I had no idea what it was about. I only bought it because of the author. So I know some of the books that he written. I know his work with his movie Restrepo and his book War. So I just bought this one. It's not about war, but might be something about conflict. Humans are driven by the quest for two cherished ideas, community and freedom. While we value individuality and self-reliance, we are utterly dependent on others. Sebastian confronts this tension, exploring the primary desires that define us, as he treks with three friends along America's East Coast rail lines. As they dodge cops and sleep under bridges, he finds asking himself, what does freedom really means? I think I'll find out when I'm reading the book on the 27th of December. On the 28th, it's a recent book that I acquired, The First World War by A.G.P. Taylor. I read that Taylor had a different approach and different perspective of the causes of war, and in this book he tells the story of the conflict from the German advance in the west through Gallipoli, the Balkans, the war at sea, all the way to the offensives of 1918 and the state of Europe after the war. I think it's gonna be a fast read because it has a lot of images and map, but then I might just spend a lot of time analyzing the photographs and the maps, and I will have to finish it in one day. The book for the 29th of December, it's a Modern Warfare Lesson from Ukraine by Lawrence Friedman. On the back it says, more than any other recent war, the fight between Russia and Ukraine has been a tough testing ground for modern weapons and operational concepts. Drawing on extensive research into the conduct of the war during its first year, Lawrence assesses the contrasting strategies of the two sides. Ukraine has fought along classical lines, seeking victory through battle. Russia has adopted a more total approach, combining conventional battles with attacks on Ukraine's social-economic structures. Friedman explains why the apparently superior Russian force has been unable to defeat Ukraine. That should be a fast read for 29th of December. The books for the last 2 days of the year, 30 and 31st, are connected, and they are Isis Dawn and Isis Dusk by Steve Stone. They're a account of the special forces involved in the fight against ISIS, making use of new technologies such as drones or quad bikes, blending it with traditional skills. The special forces are fighting against ISIS and try to rescue the local people. Forces such as the SAS, the SBS, Delta Force are taking in on a dangerous adversary. The books cover the area of Iraq and Syria 2015-2016. And with these two books, the year 2025 is finished. For the first day of 2026, the book I chose was The Alamo by John Myers. I've read references to Alamo a lot of times in other books, and I was curious to know the story. Shortly, the story is about the siege of Alamo, where in 1836 a small group of Texians are holding for 13 days against a larger army of Mexican. And although the Texian forces are defeated, the fight became a symbol of resilience. The majority of the stories of the Alamo fight have been partially legendary, partially hearsay, and at the best fragmentary. It has been left to John Myers to present an exhaustively researched book which reveals the chronicle of the siege of Alamo in an entirely different light. That's a quote from Boston Post. So that's the first book for 2026. For January 2nd, the book is The World's Elite Forces by Bruce Quarry. As you can imagine, it's a story about the special forces. Bruce includes many dramatic first-hand accounts of individual actions, from the jungles of Vietnam to the barren waste of Falklands Island, from Congo to the Middle East, or to the urban environments of Beirut or Belfast. Next book for 3rd of January is still about special forces, but during Second World War, which is Essays Behind the Lines for the Operation Hardy and Wallace by Stephen Davis. In the summer of 1944, as Allied forces pushed inland from the beaches of Normandy, a handful of SS operatives drove deep into occupied France in their modified jeeps. The mission: to wreak havoc into German supply lines, to organize the local resistance, and to inflict maximum damage behind the enemy lines. What followed was a relentless campaign of ambushes, sabotages, hit-and-run assaults that reflected the SS roots into the desert warfare and the adaptation of those tactics for the environment of France. 2 more books left and 2 more days. So on the 4th of December is a book that I might struggle just a little to read because of its size, and that will be War in Ukraine by Medea Benjamin and Nicholas Davis. When I made the challenge and when I selected the books, I had in mind the first edition of the book, which is pretty much half the size. But in the meantime, I managed to find the new edition, which is a lot thicker, so I hope I will manage to finish it. The same, I don't know that much about the book. I bought it for its title. I am interested in the Ukraine conflict. I would like to find out as many points of view and perspective as possible. So this is why I've got the book. This new edition, it's updated to 2025 and brings together current analysis with historical records. The 2 authors look at the events leading up to the conflict, surveying the different parties involved, and weigh up the continuous risk of escalation or the opportunities for peace. And 1 more book for the 5th of January, Sharpshooters by Gary E. I think that's how you pronounce it. As you can imagine, it's the story of sharpshooters, marksmen, and snipers throughout the ages. The interesting thing about the book is actually its physical format. I have the book for quite a while. I didn't look inside it, and now researching it for the video, I discovered that part of the pages are actually upside down. So you have this one that goes okay, and then this one that is upside down, which is funny. All the pages are there, so I can manage to read them. But that will actually be very interesting to read on public transport. Can get the pages right, the cover wrong, and then I can have my 15 minutes of fame, or 15 seconds, depending. And that's it. That's the last book for the 12 days of Christmas and the 12 books that I'm supposed to read in those 12 days of Christmas. Like I said at the beginning, if I cannot finish Darkness Descending on the 21st of December, I will read it at the end of the challenge. This is my challenge. Those are the books that I've chosen. Let me know in the comments if you would take on a challenge like this to read 12 books in 12 days. What book will you select for the challenge? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I will keep you updated with the progress of the challenge and hope to see you again. Merry Christmas! Bye bye!